What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Before I get started, like I always do, I hope everyone is doing okay out there, taking every day, one day at a time, living life the best way you know how. As for me, y'all know how I'm living over here in the 804. I'm also doing good. Can't complain too much, taking every day one day at a time and living life the best way I know how as well. And with all that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's video, which I'm really hyped for. 30 years ago today, July 2nd, 1996, my number one favorite MC of all time, Nas, released his seminal sophomore album. It was written. It's a lot that I'm going to say about this album because the nostalgia is strong. It's always been a personal favorite of mine. So before we get into the album, y'all know I got a couple of stories to share. I've been waiting to talk about this one on my page for quite some time. So let me go ahead and get to it. In 1994, everybody who's listening to this knows that Nas dropped this critically acclaimed debut, Illmatic, which is his crown jewel, I must say. So saying that his sophomore album was one of the most heavily anticipated albums in 1996, the summer I may add, that's a complete understatement. Before we get to that, I'm going to go back to 1 year prior, and that would be 1995. And if you know me, y'all know that that's my number one favorite year in hip-hop history. It was this year when Nas went from Nasty Nas to Nas Escobar. Now, that was a nickname alter ego, and some people embraced that change. Other people didn't, but make no mistake about it, not only did I like it, but Nas could still deliver the goods on the mic. And when it came to 3 guest appearances that I'm about to mention from 1995, it all started with the Mobb Deep classic Eye for an Eye, Your Beef Is Mine, which also had Raekwon on it. This was on the infamous album. Then we go to Raekwon's debut, Verbal Intercourse, which also had Ghostface Killer on it. That was the only Built for Cuban Links album, and as we know, that was one of Nas's best verses ever. Then we shift to Fast Life with the legendary Kool G Rap from the 456 album. So Nas was 3 for 3 in terms of guest appearances in 1995, and all 3 of those verses were quite memorable, still dope to this day. No surprises there. We shift from 1995 and go to 1996. And like I said, y'all know I got some stories here, so let me go ahead and share those as well. First things first, I own 3 versions of the cassette. One of them was the clean version, and I bought the CD twice. A lot of history here. Starting with my stories, that clean version, which was the first one that I owned, let me go ahead and tell y'all about that. At this point in the summer of 1996, I was 12 years old, y'all. I was going to a summer camp at this point. It was called Lee Park. That was in Petersburg, Virginia, which is where I'm from. Now, at the time when I attended this summer camp, there was one of the coaches who was there. His name was AK. I never got his actual name to this day, but everybody called him AK. Also at this time, I was collecting NBA basketball cards, and I did have like a nice little collection going for me. I mean, I had a lot of stuff. One day I told this guy that I would trade him my basketball collection for this tape, and he agreed to it. The next day I showed up with the cards, and he had the tape as well. Now keep in mind, this is the clean version. And when he showed me the tape, I was like, this is the clean version. And also keep in mind, I'm 12 years old at this point, so I'm real impressionable, if I may add. And he said in a direct quote, man, it got all the cussing in the world on that joint, which, as I would find out, was a straight up lie. I went ahead and proceeded with the trade anyway, and there was not a cuss word to be found. I was not upset or anything because at this point, I wanted the album bad. So whether it was the clean version or the dirty version, I had no issues. But one of my friends who also went to this camp with me, I'm not going to call his name, but if he knows who I'm talking about and he's listening, he knows exactly what I'm talking about if he remembers it. He was like, man, you traded your cars for a $10 tape? You stupid. But like I said, I didn't care because I wanted this album bad as I don't know what. Now, I easily could have asked my mama to get it for me, but I just didn't for some reason because I knew at some point I was going to end up getting the album myself, which is what eventually happened. So then I shift from that to later that summer. I believe this was like a couple of weeks after the album came out. One of my aunts, she bought the tape around the time that we went on a family trip to Hershey Park. And like I said, this was either in the latter part of July or it was in the early part of August. I can't remember right now. I just had to listen to it. So the bus ride to Hershey Park, I had her tape pretty much in my possession the whole time. Going to Hershey Park and leaving Hershey Park, that was one of the main things I was listening to, and I fell in love with it at the time, which should not be a surprise to anybody listening to this. I just had to ask to borrow it. To this day, I can't recall if I gave her the tape back or not. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I just had to have the album in my collection. And the second version of the cassette that I own, well, let's just say that I didn't pay for it. Put two and two together, y'all know exactly what I mean. Continuing on, the first time I bought the CD was in the early part of 1997, and one of my longtime friends, not the one who called me stupid for trading my cards for the tape, but this is another longtime friend, and I still talk to both of them to this day, 30 years later. And he went with me to one of our local record stores in the area, which was called Crockett's Records, Tapes, and CDs. They're no longer open. I miss that store, by the way. My sole purpose on this particular visit was to buy It Was Written, the CD. But my homeboy kept pressuring me in a good way to buy OGC's The Storm album. And I remember it to this day. He kept following me around the store. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. All I could do was laugh at him, but I went ahead and bought It Was Written anyway. And the second time I bought a copy of the CD was in early 2003. That was from Circuit City. I still remember these things, and they bring back so many memories. And one more story that I'll mention is going back to the summer of 1996. I went to a local store in my area. I was with my mama at the time. And as I was sitting in the car waiting for her to do what she had to do in the store and come out, someone was blasting Live Ninja Rap when they pulled up. And then a few moments later, another car pulled up and was blasting The Message. At that time, I was like, man, this album is everywhere because everybody was playing it. And with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into the album. Like I said, this was released 30 years ago today on July 2nd, 1996. I also want to give a shout out to De La Soul, Stakes is High, another excellent album that came out the same day. So shout out to Pace One, shout out to Posonus, and rest in peace to Trugoy. Just wanted to say that before I get started. As far as behind the boards on this album, in addition to Nas, we had Trackmasters, Tone and Poke, we had DJ Premier, Live Squad, Low Ground, Dr. Dre, Dave Atkinson, Havoc, LES, and that's Havoc from Mobb Deep, Rashad Smith. And then the featured guests on the album, we got AZ, Cormega, and Foxy Brown. In addition to Nas, they will make up what would be known as The Firm. Then we got JoJo from Jodeci, Mobb Deep came through, rest in peace to Prodigy, and Lauryn Hill from the Fugees. So got a nice little lineup behind the boards, and we got a nice little lineup of guests. And I just want to mention this as well. When I say that I anticipated this album, that's an understatement. And I also remember on BET when they had the commercial playing and they had an instrumental version of Nas Is Coming playing in the background with the July 2nd release date. Y'all, I couldn't wait for this. And speaking of can't wait, we're going to go ahead and get right into the album, starting with song number 1, which would be the album intro. And the only thing that I have to say here is in the Quran, it says Nas, the man, Lisa's the woman, it was written. And that takes us right into song number 2, The Message. And man, I love this joint right here. I remember playing this years back with a cat that I used to work with back at Pizza Hut. And he told me straight up, he was like, bro, this is the hardest thing he's ever done. And he may have been right. And The Message, it was a great title for this song because Nas was already telling everybody what direction he was going in. So you either roll with it or get out the way. Or should I say, roll with it or get rolled over. And not only was this a 5 out of 5 song, but it's definitely one of his best. And like I said, one of the hardest things lyrically that he's ever done. And let me tell y'all ninjas one thing. It's one life, one love, so there can only be one king. Well said. Next up, we got song number 3, Street Dreams. God's sake, what a ninja got to do to make $500,000 without the FBI catching feelings. Every kid wants something that's forbidden. And Nas, he did a very good job detailing that here. Even he had street dreams at this point in his career on his second album. And I give this one 5 out of 5. It's a classic. I still remember seeing the video for the first time, which was a take on Casino, which is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I also got to mention the remix that he did with R. Kelly. Of course, this is nowhere near better than his predecessor, but it was still pretty good. And issues with R. Kelly aside, he did a good job on the hook for that one. And again, 5 out of 5. Classic material. And speaking of classic material, that takes us to song number 4, the DJ Premier produced I Gave You Power, one of the most brilliant concept songs ever in hip-hop. Nas eloquently talks about himself from the perspective of a gun, all the while describing the twists, turns, and effects that that gun can bring. And that third verse was incredible. It was voted as the best verse of 1996 in the Source magazine's year-end issue. This is one of them songs that must be heard to be appreciated. Everything that I'm saying can't do it justice. And those who know this song, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, one of the most brilliant concept songs ever in hip hop history. 5 out of 5 for this one. And y'all know what that means. When we got 3 songs in a row that's 5 out of 5, it's elite status in my book. And hell, I'm being a little biased here, but even without 3 straight 5 out of 5 songs on this album, I probably would put it in elite status anyway, which shouldn't surprise anybody. Next up, we have song number 5, Watch Them Ninjas. They never realized how Red Nas is so decisive. It's just the likeness of Israelite Smiths that made me write this. Now, songs like this have been done before and afterwards, but what makes this one so good is that Nas gives his perspective on the all too familiar tale of watching those that are close to you, be prepared for anything and everything. Y'all know the deal. I'm not sure if anyone has ever noticed this, but the actual third verse that Nas raps on this song is totally different from the printed lyrics in the album insert. I'm not sure what snafu or what happened with that, but that's something that I've always noticed. 4 out of 5 for this one, and Foxy Brown, she wasn't credited for some reason, but it was clearly her that was on the hook. And I must say this before I get to song number 6. He said, "My Movado hit 7, the God hour, as if you follow. Tradition started by the school, not far from the Apollo. My tomorrow model through the eyes of Pablo. Escobar, the Desperado, word the customado." Y'all know what it is. Then we go to another 4 out of 5 song, which would be song number 6, Take It in Blood. Probably one of the more underrated songs on the album, and the dopeness continues. And y'all remember that Ultramagnetic MC sample from their classic Ease Back? Yeah, another good one here. Speaking of good, that takes us to song number 7, Nas Is Coming. To me and a lot of other people at the time, this was a huge deal in 1996 because Nas was one of the first, if not the first, New York MC to collaborate directly with Dr. Dre. Some have said that this could have been better, but in my opinion, this is some epic stuff. And the instrumental of this, like I said at the beginning of the video, was played during the commercial promoting the release of the album. Another fact that had me hyped at the time. So y'all know what this one gets. This is a true 5 out of 5 song if I ever heard one. Then next up, we go to song number 8, which is Affirmative Action. This was featuring AZ, Foxy Brown, and Cormega, the first beginnings of the supergroup that would come to be known as The Firm. To see that Nas, AZ, Foxy Brown, and Cormega was forming a supergroup, that was a big deal. It was an ill collaboration, and speaking of memories, I remember watching their performance on an episode of Showtime and the Apollo that summer with one of my cousins. Just to talk about that one for a little bit, me and my cousin, I guess we was watching some on TV, and we had no idea that Nas was going to be on Showtime and the Apollo at that point. So his dad had yelled out, he was like, "Turn the TV to Showtime and the Apollo." And when he turned the TV to it, Nas was just coming out the back because the first performance he did, If I Ruled the World, I can't recall if Lauryn Hill was there with him or not. And then when they came back out, that's when they did a rendition of Affirmative Action. So Nas, AZ, Cormega, and Foxy was on stage. I still have fond memories of that. And as y'all probably could tell, a 12-year-old me went crazy when I saw it. Completely crazy. So again, definitely an ill collaboration. I give it a 4 out of 5. Some may say it should be a 5 out of 5 for historical reasons, but I've always given it a 4 out of 5. It's excellent. Next up, we got song number 9, The Setup. This was produced by Havoc from Mobb Deep, and he was also on the hook with Nas. He was telling another familiar story here, The Setup. This time, it was 2 females who were used to catch some unsuspecting dudes in the act, and their face was sealed when they ran into Venus and Vicious. 4 out of 5 for this song. Next up, that takes us to song number 10, Black Girl Lost, featuring JoJo from Jodeci. I always like what Nas was talking about here. It's another one of those aptly titled songs. On one end, he was talking about the black girl with supreme admiration and respect, but on the flip side, he's disappointed with the way she carries herself. It's a very good song, one that I would say a lot of people need to listen to in present day 2026, but that's a whole nother story. 4 out of 5. Next up, we got song number 11, To the Suspect. Witness don't come outside, you might get your shit pushed back tonight. Suspect, witness don't come outside, you might get your shit pushed back tonight. That hook right there, it sums up the song perfectly. To the witness, if you saw or knew something, you better stay inside. You've all but been warned. 4 out of 5 for this song. Next up, we got song number 12, Shootouts. This is how shootouts will go down in QB, lyrically or otherwise. And the story that's told by Nas here is in an entertaining fashion. Another 4 out of 5 song as well. Continuing on, we have song number 13. This will be Live Ninja Rap featuring Mobb Deep. I remember playing this a lot back in the day, and anytime I had it playing, I used to always turn the stereo up loud because that's how much of a banger it was then, and it's a banger today. 4 out of 5 for this song. And last but certainly not least, we have song number 14, If I Ruled the World. Imagine that, featuring Lauryn Hill from the Fugees. Definitely one of the best songs of 1996 and one of only 2 Nas songs that still receive radio play to this day. And the second song that gets that radio play is You Owe Me with Genuine. Along with the promotion of Columbia Records, it was this classic that sold the album, and it's still something to behold listening to Nas talk about what he would do if he ruled the world. Lauryn Hill, she was great on the hook. She put in a memorable performance, and much love to the legendary Curtis Blow for the original version. Like y'all need to ask what this one gets. This is a 5 out of 5. And y'all can't forget this. You could have all the chips, be poor or rich, don't nobody want the ninja having shit. If I ruled the world and everything in it, sky's the limit. I push a Q4, 5 infinite. Hey, don't get me started over here with them bars. But like I said, 5 out of 5 for this one. And things don't end there. And I'm going to get this out the way before I get to my closing thoughts on the album. Remember when bonus tracks were a big thing when it came to albums at this point? And if you know me, I'm a sucker for bonus tracks, double albums, etc., etc. But to this day, I still want to know whose bright idea was it to put Silent Murder on the cassette version and not put it on the CD. Years after the fact, somebody somewhere got the bright idea to put it on the CD version, and I believe this was like a European version or something like that. Not necessarily a remastered version, but somebody added it years after the fact. Again, in 1996, this should have been on the CD instead of the cassette. But I digress. It made no sense to me then, and it made no sense to me now. But Silent Murder, an excellent song, and I recommend y'all check that out. That should have been on the CD version. But it's all good. With all that being said, overall, man, it was written such an excellent album from top to bottom. There's little to no filler on this album. I still remember some of the semi-heavy criticism that Nas was getting at this point. He had sold out. He had abandoned his original style. The Trackmaster's production was too commercial, you name it. I respect those views, but like I said before, Nas still came through pretty nicely on this album, and even to this day, I still feel that it's unfairly compared to Illmatic. And no, it's not on the level of Illmatic, but then again, most albums aren't, and even that's the case with Nas himself. But this is no sophomore jinx, not in my view. It remains his most successful album to date. It moved 4 million copies, and after multiple listens over the years, I always gave it 4 mics, but after a while, I was like, you know what? This is 4.5 mics. Nostalgia-wise, this is a 5. But if I'm being objective here, it's 4.5, without a question. And if y'all think I'm done with this revisit, or should I say this retrospective, no, I'm not done just yet. So what I have in my hand right here is a copy of the It Was Written review written by Chris X in the September 1996 issue of Vibe. I had to print this out online. I'm also going to do the review that's in the Source magazine that also had Nas on the front in 1996. That was the August 1996 issue, the same issue where they reviewed Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt. And by the way, if you haven't checked out my retrospective on Reasonable Doubt, go ahead and do that as well. Bear with me while I go ahead and get these ready, because I'm going to read these verbatim, starting with the Vibe magazine review. When Queensbridge, New York's Nasir Benaludara Jones emerged onto hip-hop soundstage in 1994 with his debut Illmatic, there were lights and bells worthy of the second coming. The album was ordained a classic even before its release. Along with Snoop Doggy Dogg's 1993 Doggy Style, Wu-Tang Clan's 1993 Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, and the Notorious Big's 1994 Ready to Die, Nas's Illmatic ushered in a new school of hip-hop that sought to balance old school rhyme ethics with the 90s sense of greenback-driven artistry. His counterparts created under the keen visions of Dr. Dre, The RZA, and Sean Puffy Combs respectively, and all went pop on their own terms. Nas, though, benefited from some of hip-hop's most revered board masters, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Q-Tip, and Launch Professor. Then newcomer LES also provided tracks to back the MC's metaphysical pondering. The words that represented Nas's Life a Bitch and then you die. That's why we get High Mentality. And yet the album sold only 200,000 copies. Now keep in mind, this was in September 1996. So I'm pretty sure over the years it exceeded the 200,000 mark. So is Illmatic truly a classic? Yes, because it brought back to hip hop a concentration on lyrics and lyricism. But at the same time, no, because Illmatic doesn't stand on the same tier of albums like BDP's 1987 Criminal Minded, 1989's The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick, or Eric B. and Rakim's heralded 1987 Paid in Full. I disagree with this because history has shown that Illmatic has stood the test of time. And by the way, if you don't know already, Illmatic is my #1 favorite album of all time. Continuing on, were the comparisons of Nas to the legendary Rakim justified? Yes, because like Rakim, Nas brings poetry directly to the forefront. But at the same time, no, because Nas can't yet bring together mood and lyrics and flow simultaneously to create something at once timely and timeless. I disagree with that as well, because even though this was 96 and Nas still had his career ahead of him, Nas would do this in spades as his career continued on. But Nas' new It Was Written is on time, at least as far as being money driven. Bypassing his former producers, half of Nas' follow-up is in the hands of pop production trope, the track masters, think of LL Cool J and Biggie, while the rest falls to huge talents like DJ Premier, Dr. Dre, and Mobb Deep's Havoc. The addition of the track masters and Dre is an obvious attempt to make up for the lack of radio playable material on Illmatic, but still the artist shines through. The first single, If I Ruled the World, features the Fugees, Lauryn Hill singing a chorus from Curtis Blow's 1985 hit of the same name. In it, Nas details a wish list that half Black Panther 10-point platform and half the crazy ransom list from Dog Day Afternoon. But while Nas's hopes for drug rehab, reparations, and endless blowjobs paint a picture that both b-boys and activists can cheer for, the Trackmaster's song is a Lupo-Rama, Houdini's 1984 Friends Gets Worn Out. I wouldn't say worn out, but the Trackmasters did a damn good job sampling that. Continuing on, similarly, the painfully hopeful Black Girl Lost is overwhelmed by vocals from Jodeci's JoJo Haley. The LES-produced song woos heavy rotation, while the MC makes the type of passionate persuades that leave lyrical aficionados genuflecting at his mic stand. Sometimes, though, Nas's quest for the big time works out well. Smooth bass lines and frail drums come together substantially on Street Dreams, a makeover of the Eurythmics' 1983 Sweet Dreams. Silent Murder, which is not noted here that's a bonus track, gets its strength from Soul to Soul's 1990 Get a Life, but on a tepid Take It in Blood, the music laws while Nas's verbiage pistol whips you. Okay, Take It in Blood is not tepid, but let's continue on. What should have been the binding for It Was Written is the East Meets West venture Nas Is Coming. Produced by Dr. Dre, Coming unfolds like a lush movie musical. The hook, Nas Is Coming, courses out smooth as velvet. But there's no substance. Really, you want to say? Where is Nas coming from? Where is he going? And why is this overly grandiose song in the middle of the album? Well, like I said, that song was an epic to me for obvious reasons. This was the first time that a New York MC had been on a Dr. Dre track. Plus, I was looking forward to it. Where is he going and asking all those questions? Okay, I get it. But at the same time, the song was an epic. Why was it in the middle of the album? I mean, I don't know. I didn't have an issue with it, and I don't have an issue with it today. It wouldn't have been the start of the album, and the damn sure wouldn't have been at the end, so I think it was sequenced well. But style over substance wins on affirmative action, which serves as the launching pad for Nas's Click the Firm, which features AZ, Foxy Brown, and Cormega. Over Trackmaster's keys and strings arrangement, the quartet evoke hilarious images such as AZ's Corleone, Fettuccine Capone self-description, and Brown, continuing her MO, goes on a minute-and-a-half journey that touches no less than 3 car companies, 4 fashion designers, 6 Persuado exotic locales, and ends with an appropriation of Smooth the Hustler's broken language style drug cooking mathematics. It's in the DJ Premier produced I Gave You Power and the 2 tracks created by Havoc that Queensbridge finest seems most at home. Power smacks together falling piano notes with a set of stuttering drums to frame Nas's picturesque tale of a lamented gunner. Havoc's The Setup is a story of revenge, and the mob-assisted freestyle live ninja rap spills over hard, gloomy percussion. In the end, he says the problems with It Was Written are not what is written or how it flows, but its consistently aggressive attempts at pop music. When Nas arrived, he was touted as a microphone god. He remains a poignant figure with a panoramic view of the real and metaphorical ghetto, and his flow is still astounding. But Nas requires a sonic tapestry of multi-hued and breathtaking as his rhymes, and then the pop success he obviously desires will occur organically. It was written as adequate. Unfortunately, though, Nas's own second coming isn't nearly as satisfying as his first one. This was a decent review, but I disagree with that because, again, it's kind of unfair to compare it to Illmatic. But like I said, this is not a sophomore jinx, not by a long shot. Better than Illmatic, no, but definitely a worthy successor to it. And yes, It Was Written did get the sales that Illmatic didn't, but that still doesn't mean that it's a bad album, and it's definitely more than adequate. And speaking of mics, that takes me to the Source Magazine issue that reviewed this album. Like I said, Nas was on the front of this issue. It was the August 1996 one. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and read this one verbatim. This was written by Mark Landis. Let out of his cage at a certain barbecue thrown by Extra P, Nas Escobar revealed himself as a rhyme monster to be reckoned with, commanding a lyrical expertise matched only by a select few. He captured the collective imagination of a hip-hop world suffering from withdrawal and fiending for fresh talent. Without a second thought, hip-hop fans clung onto the back of Nas's drawers like a month-old shit stain. Okay. Since then, he's displayed a proclivity for complex rhyme structure and philosophical ghetto profundity, which can easily earn him a label as the Aristotle of rap. Before its release, Nas's debut album Illmatic was billed as an automatic hip-hop classic, and Nas jumped into the game highly touted as hip-hop savior. I meant to say highly touted. Neither disappointed. Illmatic was a rhyme revolution coupled with a tight blend of beats created by some of the biz's top producers. The only problem hip-hop's greedy-ass fans could point out was it was too short. 10 tracks, the babies wanted more. It Was Written, Nas's second album, should shut all of the it was short whiners up for good. 14 tracks deep, there's enough brilliance and ingenuity to keep even the most critical and ardent fans clearing to come out of their khakis for the next month. From beats to rhymes, It Was Written is a convention of some of hip-hop's hottest talents: Stretch, Primo, LES, Havoc, and Peep This, Dre on production, AZ, Foxy Brown, Mobb Deep, and Cormega on the lyrical side. On It Was Written, Nas Escobar presents his audience with a more mature version of the man he started introducing in Illmatic. Though his rhyme style has not changed drastically, there's no use tampering with some close to rhyme perfection. The themes, viewpoints, and creative angles flaunted throughout the album are sublime. Nas reveals himself as not only a rhymer, but also as a thinker. Black Girl Laws is a gently optimistic ode to the hopeless plight of young black women, while the message is a vivid description of the complexities posed by the ghetto, set over a sweet guitar loop in which Nas colludes reflectively. A thug changes, and love changes, and best friends become strangers. Word up. Unless you think Nas has suddenly become preachy, Affirmative Action is an off-the-hook posse jam with an Italiano feel to it. Nas, like most philosophers, explores the realm of ideas through stories, using example as a device to show rather than tell. For Nas, ghetto reality is a grisly one, held captive by confusion and death. This is made chillingly clear on the apocalyptic track I Gave You Power, when Nas imagined himself as a semi-automatic Desert Eagle. Nas acknowledges the effect guns have had on the African-American community, saying, "My creation was for blacks to kill blacks." And upon having his owner killed in a shootout, he laments on the vicious cycle of violence in the ghetto by having a stranger pick him up. Nas simply reacts in a desperate, "Damn." In closing, Mark Landis says, unlike the overwhelming majority of rappers whose rhymes are as coherent as Busta Rhymes' clothes, okay, Nas spews out line after line of lyrics so dependent on each other. If written on paper, it reads like a short story. Indeed, It Was Written is an audio anthology of ghetto stories told by one of hip-hop's most prolific writers. If ever there was a straight-up genius in hip-hop par excellence, his name would have to be Nas. Not just a hip-hop artist or rhymer or celebrity, Nas Escobar is a hip-hop visionary. Well said. Mark Landis gave us 4 mics, and like I said a few times already, this one gets 4.5 mics. Definitely one of the best albums of 1996, and the Source magazine confirmed that when they picked the album as one of the best albums of 96 in their year-end issue for 1996. Overall, like I said, I love this album. It still holds up today. It's never going to get old. When you have material like that that still hits 30 years later, you know you're working with some good stuff. And to Nas and everybody who contributed to this album, my thanks goes to you. Thanks for the memories. And more than likely, when I finish this video, I'm going to throw it in the CD player as well, if I don't throw it in on the computer or on my phone, whichever one comes first. Y'all think I'm done with this one? Oh no, this is a retrospective right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my screen shared. And the way I'm going to close the video is this is going to be Discover Classic Samples used on Nas's It Was Written album. And shout out to Vin Rican at Power 106 LA. I'm not sure if he's still doing videos, but the way that this dude did the samples along with having the 2 turntables and the stereo mixer, I love this. Before I get that one started, fair usage for the video, fair usage. I also want to say that if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. Definitely let me know your thoughts on this album 30 years later. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And remember, there's one life, one love, so there can only be one king. Enjoy this Power 106 LA samples used on the It Was Written album, and now check y'all on the next one.
What up? It's Vin Rican, and welcome to another edition of Wax Only. On July 2nd, 1996, Nas dropped his sophomore album, It Was Written. Man, I've been reading all the comments in the comment section. Appreciate all the love. This Wax Only felt like an on-demand. You guys wanted a Nas It Was Written, so here it is. I hope you enjoy. Please keep it locked in the future. Got some more heat coming your way. In the meantime, enjoy this one.
Fake thug, no love, you get the slug. CB4 gusto, your luck low. I didn't know till I was drunk though. You freak niggas played out, get fucked and ate out. Prostitute turned bitch, I got the gauge out. 96 ways I made out. Montana way, the good FELLA. Verbal AK spray, tip detach you. Jump out the range, empty out the ashtray. A glass of Zay, making mad Cassius Clay. Red dot plots, murder schemes, 32 shotguns. Regulate with my thuns, 17 rocks gleam for one ring. They let me let y'all niggas know one thing. There's one life, one love, so there can only be one king. Street dreams are made of these. Push beamers in 300 degrees. A drug dealer's destiny is reaching the key. Everybody's looking for something. Street dreams are made of these. Shorties on their knees with niggas with big cheese. Who am I to disagree? Everybody's looking for something. My man put me up for the share, 1/4 of a square, headed for Delaware with one change of gear. Nothing on my mind but the dimes that we blaze, with the glaze in my eye that we find when we crave dollars and cents. A fugitive with 2 attempts, Jake's had no trace of the face. Now they drew a print, though I'm innocent to proving guilty. I'ma try to get filthy, purchase a club and start up a realty. For real G, I'ma fulfill my dream. If I conceal my scheme, then precisely I build my cream. The first trip without the click, sent the bitch with the quarter brick. This is it, fresh face, NY plates, got a crooked eye for the jakes. I want it all, armor on bins and endless papes. God's sake, what a nigga gotta do to make a $500,000 without the FBI catching feelings? Street dreams are made of these. Niggas push beamers in 300 E's. A drug dealer's destiny is reaching the key. Everybody's looking for something. I seen some cold nights and bloody days. They grabbed me in bullet spray. They used me wrong, so I sing this song to this day. My body is cold steel for real. I was made to kill, that's why they keep me concealed. Under car seats, they sneak me in clubs. Been in the hands of mad thugs. They feed me when they load me with mad slugs. 17 precisely, one in my head. They call me Desert Eagle. Semi-auto with lead. I'm 7 inches, 4 pounds. Been through so many towns. Ohio to Little Rock to Canarsie. Living harshly, beat up and battered. They pull me out, I watch as niggas scattered. Making me kill, but what I feel it never mattered. When I'm empty, I'm quiet. Finding myself fiending to be fired. A broken safety, niggas place me in shelves under bed, so I beg for my next owner to be a thoroughbred, keeping me full up with hollow heads. How you like me now? I go blow, it's that shit that moves crowds, making every ghetto foul. I might have took your first child, scarred your life, crippled your style. I gave you power, I made you buck wow. How you like me now? I go blow, it's that shit that moves crowds, making every ghetto foul. I might have took your first child, scarred your life, crippled your style. I gave you power, I made you buck wow. Always I'm in some shit. My abdomen is the clip. The barrel's my dick. Uncircumcised, pull my skin back.
I made it like that. I bought it like that. I'm living like that. I made it like that. I bought it like that. I'm living like that.
Yeah. I never brag, how real I keep it, cause it's the best secret. I rock a vest, prestigious, Cuban link, flooded Jesus. Intellects watching Kathy Lee and Regis. My actions are one with the seasons, a tech squeezing, executioner. Wintertime I rock a fuck, mega popular, center of attraction, climaxing. My bitches, they be laughing, they hop from sniffing coke off for 20 cent, Andrew Jackson. City lights spark a New York night, Rossi and Martini sipping, Sergio Tacchini flipping, mad pies, low price, I blow dice and throw them. 45 by my scrotum, manifest to do or die slogan. My niggas rolling 10 M3s, 20 guards popping willies on Kawasaki's. Hip hop's got me on some more, spraying shots like a drum roll. Blanking out, never miscount the shells, my gun hole. I don't stunt, I regulate. Henny and Sprite, I separate. Watching crab niggas marinate. I'm all about text and good jokes and sex. Israelite books, holding government names from nests. MCs are crawling out every hole in the slum. You be alright like blood money in a pimp's cum. It was a murder. Jake just hit the corner, people swarming. 3 in the morning, I jumped out my cab like, what up? Niggas is buck, mega bloodshed, the tape's red. I heard some bird whisper, yo, he should've ducked. I puffed the lilla, just before I hit the scene for real. I'm all high, it's late, I'm looking down at the fella. Shit's twisting, ambulance placed him on some cushion. His mom's had a stay, I wouldn't dare second look when I murked. It hurt kinda, took it as a brief reminder that the streets designed to stop your life clock. The beast to time you, sell to sell, suspect ass nigga, you fail. First time lock, the crime stop, my mind blocks the rail. Bursting, blasting at your 40 cal shells, split your dry cell. My niggas never snitch, why tell? We roll with no regrets, destinies, 50s and equities. Queens will be the death of me. To the suspect, witness don't come outside. You might get your shit pushed back tonight. Suspect, witness don't come outside. You might get your shit pushed back tonight.
Wish you were here with me. I wish you were here.
Yo, Release was semi. Besides the Henny, his eyes that seen plenty. Things get skinny as if Queens was a Craig Jenny. Instead of diet plans, it's crack 200 grams. I pump a G-Pack, peeping for where the D's at. It's slow, looking for Rambo, the cop who got grades back in the days. Chasing niggas through my project maze. The cop, he got a death wish. He run behind niggas until you breathless. Every day he making 10 arrest shit. My nigga, check this. I know the bitch he rests with. I even blessed it. 40-10 inspected. Already checked it, done his ankle. You can see his gun. He parked his Jeep in the back of the slum to check Tanisha. Fat ass real fly with the blonde Caesar. Bettini summer gear, she pushed the 2-seater. I heard she brag about the way he eat her. An Irish man, short, slim with a tan. They say he laced her cheaper. She do be looking weaker now. Her teeth are foul. Speaking loud, people style. In and out of every reaper cloud.
Watch what happens.
The golden child shot that ass up, you was holding out. Let the streets be the court, and corners hold the trial. Fatal, not fictitious. I rock the cable 86s. Foreign cars young with crazy bitches. Man, smoke makes me able to quote. Soliciting ill editions of that murder I wrote. A provocative plan could bring a knot to my hand. As the pyramids to stand on the top of the sand. In the heat of the moment, like Farrakhan said. Need atonement, bulletproof glass, S-classes, chrome kitted up, calicones lit it up. I didn't get touched, checking my nuts, I stood up, then lit it Dutch, clutching cats, quick to bust, but knowing how these niggas tattle. I sneak move, get the drop, one shot without the gun battle. So when you run the lead travel, I come through with tackle. 96 ways made the clap.
Nothing's coming. Nothing's coming. Nothing's coming. Nothing's coming.
I'm a man on the scene. I can give you what you want, but you got to go home with me. I forgot some good old love, and then I got some in store. When I get through throwing it on you, you got to come back for more. Boys and things will come by the dozen, but that ain't nothing but drugstore loving. Pretty little thing living like the count, cause mama, I'm so hard to hell know.
Protect this, nigga, for the necklace. I throw the death wish, the pretty slim sex shit, the rep this. Remember Fox said this, we on some next shit. We are blessed this, the scars on our back mean we meant this. The live form, the 25 sentence to keep my eyes on them. I'm straight, knowing the lies shine on them. Shitty drugs and drama, opposite three pretty thugs in a dime mama. Feeling the rest, stealing their chest. When bugs through the kiss of death, it was over. And we laid out, chill, I was open off the way he ate out. It was real, for real, I was fucking with Mills and he was fragile. He wildin', the brown stallion, stay stalin'. On the low fallin', the whole farm rallied. He loved it, I know the trick bitch he fucked with. On some duck shit, heard through the grave that she sucked it. Farm, Sos and Esco, Mad Logo, Fox and Mega, for whatever. And through this cheddar, we gon' stay family till we Friday. The family never split, even if one of us died. Along with our kickos, we gon' blaze till it's good.
Walk right up to the sun. Walk right up to the sun. We want peace.
How many of us have them? Friends, ones we can depend on.
the story, how the thugs live and worry. Duck down in car seats, heat's mandatory. Running from Jake, getting chased, hunger for papes. These are the breaks, many mistakes go down out of state. Wait, I had to let it marinate. We carry weight, trying to get laced. Flip the A stack to safe. Millionaire plan to keep the gap with the cock hammer. Making moves in Atlanta, back and forth scrambler.
To stay up on all your latest hip hop and that good feel music, click that subscribe button right now and make sure to comment below.
Timberland,